you've got to be a bit delusional to make it in this world. Nobody knows what they're doing, right? If you go back and look at all these people, these business gurus who you look up to, go and look at their the early stages of their business when they were just getting started. Go and look at what it was like for them when they were first starting out. They didn't know what they were doing. They were learning on the fly. They didn't know what would happen. They were taking risks. They didn't know that they were going to make any money, but they did it anyway. And if you try to analyze this with logic, it makes absolutely no sense. If you're a logical person like I am, it can seem really stupid. Like, why would you go and do that incredibly risky thing? Why would you go and chase your dreams, even though you have no track record? And you go back and look at anyone who has achieved greatness in their life, or considered successful, however you want to measure that, they all at some point just said, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it. And it makes no sense. I wouldn't even bet on myself, but they just did it anyway. They had this kind of delusional self-belief. And this is the kind of self-belief that you need to manufacture in yourself in order to make it work. It's hard too, because society is structured in such a way that it squashes people who have this delusional self-belief, right? You're told that you need to play it safe, that you need to think long term, you need to invest in your pension and your Roth IRA or whatever it is. You're not told to just take shots at the moon, at least not anymore. It's becoming less and less common to do this, and so people just don't have dreams nowadays. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you just go and speak to the people who are around you at work or at school or whatever, almost none of them have dreams or have big goals in life. Like when we were kids, this was common all the time, right? People wanted to be astronauts, people wanted to be policemen, people wanted to be a singer or an artist. These days, the biggest thing you can hope for is just to get your paycheck at the end of the week. That's really sad to me. It speaks to it speaks to me deeply that you need this grand vision that you're working towards. If you don't have that, you lose all interest in the day-to-day. How can you enjoy the present? How can you enjoy your work if you don't even know where you're going? There's this concept that I saw, I was just kind of scrolling on LinkedIn or whatever, and it's called the Pike effect. And I thought this was really, really interesting. So the Pike effect, what it is they did this experiment where they had a fish tank and they had a big fish, like a pike, in with a bunch of other smaller fish. And normally what would happen is if you did that, the big fish would just eat the smaller fish, right? That's what happens, right? Big fish, small fish. That's why you have that analogy. So what you can do is if you split them with a mirror in the middle of the tank, so you have the big fish here and you have the small fish here. What happens, or sorry, not a mirror, just like a see-through kind of glass case. What happens is the big fish will try to get to the small fish and it will fail. Like you can see it through the glass, but it can't get to it, right? And it will learn over time that if it keeps bashing its head against the glass, it's just going to hurt itself. So it learns to ignore these small fish. It learns to never even go for them, right? And eventually, you give it enough time, you can take away the glass case and the fish are right there in front of it. They're right there, but it will not move. The fish will not move. The small fish will even swim around its face. It won't even go for them because it's learned over, months and months and months that it will never get those small fish. So it won't even try. Eventually that fish starves to death. It doesn't even try to eat the small fish, even though it's surrounded by food. And this is where we find ourselves in society right now. It is this learned helplessness, this constant doomer mentality, this blackpilling of oh, this world is so bad. Everyone's alone, everyone's depressed, everyone's on medication, the economy's so bad, there's war everywhere, bad, bad, bad. No one dreams anymore. And so you just start to be enveloped by this psychology that no matter what you do, you can never achieve anything, even if you tried. It's so sad to see. And so in order to break out of that, you need to be delusional, right? You need to go against everything that you've been told, everything that everyone who has ever spoken to you and told you, what's possible and what's not. And you have to tell them, you have to face up to them and tell them, no, you're wrong. I can do this. And it's scary to do that. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. It creates a lot of anxiety, but that anxiety framed in a different way is also excitement, right? It gives you life. It gives you soul. That's why it's so necessary. So there is no certainty in life waiting for you, right? The only certainty is the certainty of death. I think that's a quote from some philosopher who I'm misquoting. So the only thing to do really in this life, the only way to make this experience a worthy one, is to pick a dream, to have a dream, to fill your day-to-day life with excitement, something that you're chasing, something that you're moving towards. And without that, you will just die a slow death. And it will be the same death that, your parents have experienced and your parents' parents, 2.5 kids and a mortgage. And that would really suck to to have that, to just keep that going, right? So you got to be a bit delusional to make it in this world. Delusional in the direction of self-belief. And if you can do that, you actually have a chance. I'll see you in the next video.